Good afternoon. On behalf of the Alumni Council and the Alumni Association, welcome to Swarthmore. In fact, assuming you make it through your first day of classes on Monday, welcome to the Alumni Association. Technically, all former students are automatically members. The alumni of the college are an incredible resource for students, and I hope you take advantage of us during the next 4 years. During my time at Swarthmore, I enjoyed many benefits from getting to know alumni, including networking opportunities, support for student clubs, and a summer of free housing during an internship in DC. Now, as an alum myself, I always enjoy interacting with students, mentoring them, and sometimes even hiring them to come work with me. But enough about alumni. Today, we are here to talk about you. Some of the experiences you may face over the next 4 years and how you will respond to them. While I could tell you about some of the late night conversations or political debates on campus that challenged my core beliefs, I'm instead going to focus on one particular core belief in hopes that y'all can learn from some of my missteps in the past. That belief is we are all in this together. And so it's okay to ask for some help along the way. This seems to be a common theme. I hope it's sinking in. Although 16 years ago may seem like a long time, I remember sitting exactly where you are today during my new student orientation in August of 2003. I knew no one aside from my roommate, who I just met earlier that day, and one other person from my high school. I felt incredibly out of place. To make matters worse, I was recovering from major jaw surgery with a still swollen face from the procedure, as well as braces, and I was on a liquid-only diet. Not only did I feel nervous and out of place, I didn't even feel like myself. But during those first few weeks of college, I pretty much dove headfirst into anything and everything that sounded of interest. The activities fair, I signed up for everything from new sports teams to political clubs and community service activities, and only a few months later, whittled down my email subscriptions to the clubs I would really stay involved with. Campus jobs, I was on the babysitting list and a phone-a-thon caller for annual giving from the get-go. Academics, I'd never taken a film class, so of course I had to sign up for Patty White's Intro to Film and Media Studies. First-year seminars, I couldn't wait to get started on the reading list for Marge Murphy's course on Gender in America. To this day, one of the best classes I've ever taken. Pretty much the only thing I avoided was the swim test. It ends up that if the one perk of having major surgery right before you start Swarthmore is that you're allowed to defer the swim test for a semester. I found myself well prepared for the rigorous coursework at Swarthmore and didn't face any significant academic struggles that fall. I had heard about student academic mentors, or SAMs, writing associates, and other resources available to help you if you were struggling, but I knew those were not for me. I was doing just fine. At the same time, I was heavily involved in campus life, and I didn't beat myself up if I didn't always get an A. In fact, looking back on my transcript, there were a lot of times I didn't get an A. I was a solid B, maybe B+ student, and that was just fine. I spent my first and my second, then my third and my fourth semesters exploring any and every course that caught my fancy. Along the way, I distilled 3 key areas that I found of particular interest and thus kept taking more and more courses in. Film and media studies, women's studies, now gender and sexuality studies, and biology. I originally took Bio 2 just to complete my science requirement. I liked it so much that sophomore fall, I took Bio 1, and then in the spring, I took a 2-credit biology seminar in ecology. All signs pointed to a biology major. This was great, except for one thing: chemistry. I'd always had a bad relationship with chemistry. It started way back sophomore year in high school. And now I was facing the requirement at the time of taking Chem 10, which is general chemistry, and organic chemistry if I wanted to complete a major in biology. I was also planning on studying abroad the spring of my junior year in Prague. Thus, I made the decision to take Chem 10 the fall of my junior year and organic, which was only offered once each year the spring of my senior year. The chemistry faculty here are fabulous, and I was convinced I could pull this all off without a hitch and still have a wonderful junior and senior year. After all, aside from that time I slept through a statistics midterm, I'd never really struggled that much. Junior year, general chemistry started and was going well enough, not great, but okay, until I got tired. Instead of my afternoon of rugby practice or my late night of homework, I was lying in bed exhausted. Then came the sore throat. I'd never felt anything like this, but stubbornly, I knew that the only option was just to keep chugging along. My best friend, who incidentally is now a pediatrician, had been through this before, saw the symptoms, and marched me over to Worth Health Center to get checked out. Mono, the kissing disease. To this day, I don't know how I got it, but I can tell you with full certainty, I wasn't kissing anyone that fall. Mono knocked me out. I spent days in the health center, often unable to go to class. If I hadn't been open to asking for help, I wouldn't have survived that semester. To this day, I am thankful for the nurses at Worth for patiently taking care of me, my friends who reviewed lecture notes with me, and the professors who were generous with assignment extensions. After catching up on problem sets, papers, and exams, I survived the semester and headed off to Prague with a so-so grade in general chemistry. After an amazing semester abroad, I came back to campus for my senior year. While some friends were taking easy classes to enjoy their last year on campus, and others were cramming for honors exams, I was simply terrified of organic chemistry. I was one of 3 seniors in the course that spring, and we all needed to pass the class to graduate. Most of the other students were first years. They all wanted to go to medical school, and I felt a little out of my league. Yes, I, a senior, was intimidated by the first years. I went to every lecture, I did every problem set, I even did all the reading. And yet I was lost. Absolutely, completely lost. I eventually gave up on the textbook because it was so over my head and switched to a copy of Organic Chemistry for Dummies. I went to office hours and worked with the professor after class. My best friend was a chemistry major, and she tried, but it didn't work. One thing I held out on was a tutor. I knew the dean's office had them, but I felt if I asked for a tutor, it was a sign that I just wasn't smart enough. I'd survived 3.5 years without one. I certainly didn't need one now. Fortunately, common sense, along with a fear of not graduating, prevailed, and a wonderful sophomore, who also happened to be a rugby teammate, worked tirelessly as my tutor to get me through the semester. She was happy for a campus job that she considered to be really easy, and I was just thankful I was finally making some progress. After the first few minutes of our initial session, any silly fears of looking stupid for asking for help went away. It became obvious that the only bad decision I'd made was waiting so long to ask. The night before the final, my mom called with words of encouragement. My mother has a way with words, and her wisdom that night has always stuck with me. She said, "Emily Anne, just remember, a D is for diploma." I didn't get that D, I got a C-. I have never been so proud of another grade in my life. But getting there wasn't something I did on my own. Getting there took the help of the staff at Worth Health Center, my professors, my tutor, my friends, my family, and many, many others along the way. I may not use my organic chemistry skills, or what's left of them, in my day-to-day life 12 years post-Swarthmore, but I have never forgotten the lessons the course taught me. Today in my career, I am often the one leading big meetings and presenting to CEOs, CFOs, or the board of directors for my clients. But I'm never in it all on my own. I always have a team that helped me prepare for the presentation, build the slides, run the statistical analysis, and who has supported me along the way. Even when I was thinking about what to say to y'all today, I called up my friend who all those years ago had intervened and given me her copy of Organic Chemistry for Dummies. She didn't remember giving me the book, but she certainly remembered the number of times that she had to ask for help when she was on campus. By the way, her advice for you is drink plenty of water, wear sunscreen, find your friends after parties, and don't date anyone on your hall. So, as you start your adventure at Swarthmore, dive in, explore it all, join those clubs, try a new sport, and take on new challenges. Enroll in those classes you had never even heard of until you looked at the catalog. This is your chance to do exactly that. And don't be afraid. You have an entire community here to support you and help you through it. All you have to do is ask. Thank you.